The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com and at amazon.com.
Now, what if you're a family man? I mean, you're supposed to be a family man. You've got a wife and 2 lovely kids, and yet you dread the weekends because the weekends are family time and you are totally, totally bored. This is what the situation of the following listener, Frank. Dear Dr. Kenner, I'm a listener in the United Kingdom via the web, and I love your show. I'm a professional writer and have authored 10 nonfiction books. I love my work. I work from home, and I tend to spend 10 hours a day at my desk, Monday through Friday. Okay, nothing wrong so far. You can be passionate about your work. I am. I probably spend 10 hours at my desk. I am married. Okay, now this puts a little glitch in it because you need some time for your wife, for you and your wife, if your marriage is still a value to you. And I have 2 young children. 10 hours a day at work, and you've got 2 darling children. And the 6-year-old has Down's syndrome. And my heart goes out to you. I've worked with people who've had Down syndrome. Very, very sad. And if I could tell you one piece of information which you probably know very well, those 10 hours that you're working at your desk, your 11-year-old who's the healthy one that doesn't have Down syndrome, he or she needs you desperately. I've heard so much from the kids who've had a sibling with a handicap, a severe handicap, that they get brushed aside. All the attention is given to the handicapped child, and that the 11-year-old, the healthy child, feels guilty that they are not handicapped, that they have good functioning, and the parents don't seem to recognize them because the parents feel guilty. Not treating each kid equally, in quotes, and you can't. You need to treat each child uniquely. So continuing with your email, Frank. Every week I try to follow through with a commitment to spending the weekend with my wife and kids, but after just a few hours I find myself getting depressed. I love my family, but for some reason being with them for extended periods drives me crazy, and all I want to do is get back to work. Taking 2 days off to do nothing, in quotes, seems a waste to me, and by the time Sunday rolls around, I'm halfway to crazy.
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. Ugh, I wish guys knew more about what we want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance. A serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The Selfish Path to Romance. That is interesting.
Taking 2 days off to do nothing, in quotes, seems a waste to me, and by the time Sunday rolls around, I'm halfway to crazy, often resorting to a few glasses of wine or scotch in the evening to dull the boredom. And I think you know, Frank, that alcohol isn't the cure. You don't need me to tell you that. So when Monday arrives, everything brightens up. Even a bad day at work seems better than a weekend playing with the Family Guy. I used to smoke cigarettes, and the problem wasn't as bad then. But now the smoke screen has gone. I can't stand the agony. My question is, am I a workaholic? Frank, that won't answer anything. We'll talk about this in a second. Do I need therapy? The answer is absolutely yes. Give yourself some good therapy, good cognitive therapy, if you can find a good cognitive therapist in the United Kingdom. Or do I simply need to restructure my weekend to include working time so that I don't get depressed? My work is also my hobby, and my weekends therefore seem too long. As for vacations, well, maybe the rational thing to do would be to start smoking again. Smiley face. Love your show and hope you can shed some light on this for me. Best wishes, Frank. Frank, you want to value your life, and if you have not made your kids and your wife into a value, you're not milking what you could get out of their relationships. If you've just let that aspect of your life by default fade into the background, granted you have a Down syndrome kid, so that can be very hard, but if you and your wife and your 11-year-old could even take a vacation together, if you and your wife could take a vacation together, much better than the cigarette smoking and the alcohol and the just giving up on yourself. My guess is you already know the answer, that yes, you do need to restructure your weekends so that it isn't two solid blocks of non-work. But you also need to restructure your weeks if you work at home to spend a little more time with your 11-year-old, to find out where your wife's coming from, maybe some couples therapy to find out, or even family therapy with all of the kids, but with your wife privately, to find out how does she feel about this. If she's got the full-time care of the kids, that's really hard. If you've got a nanny, that's different. But it is very, very hard with a Down syndrome kid. So I wish I had more time to talk about this.
And here's a little more from Dr. Kenner.
I might be the only person on the face of the earth that knows you're the greatest woman on earth. And how you say what you mean, and how you almost always mean something that's all about being straight and good. And I think most people miss that about you. And the fact that I get it makes me feel good about me.
Now that's fabulous. That's Jack Nicholson. Imagine someone saying that to you, whether you're a woman or a man, someone knowing you so deeply, so well, and having the courage to put it into words, to tell you how they feel about you. And it makes them feel proud about themselves too. So if you're with someone you love, you want to make sure that you give them that visibility, that you tell them in words what you recognize as good in them, and that should make you feel good about you, too.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner.
Active listening and assertive speaking are skills that are indispensable for good communication, for self-respect, and for a loving relationship. You'll want these skills in all aspects of your life with your partner, including your sexual relationship. Communicating well lets you and your partner know what's important to the other, while avoiding misunderstandings and allowing your lives together to run smoothly. Communicating well helps you learn each other's vulnerable areas so that you don't unintentionally hurt one another. It also helps you make plans for your future together, vacations, career plans, buying and maintaining a house, having children, or not.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com, and you can buy The Selfish Path to Romance at amazon.com.